Hello guys, my name is SJ, a very happy baby name Monday. If you are looking for a baby name, you're in the right place. So hit subscribe so you never miss a name from me, because I am like the internet's name nerd. I absolutely love baby names and I love spotting trends, and this trend is absolutely huge at the moment. It is beautiful wildlings. So these are animal names that are so all embody that sort of free-spirited, more spiritual type of animal names, and they don't have to be so obvious. So the big one at the moment obviously is going to take this trend for the next sort of 5-10 years is Kylie Jenner naming her little boy Wolf. So Wolf is really out there as a name. I got all the statistics, but I found a ton more that are a little bit rarer if you're really looking for that sort of spirit animal name, by which I mean when people talk about spirit animals, there's two types. So there's totem animals, which are supposed to guide you and sort of see you through life, and it's a little bit different to spirit animal, which is really about your values, your core beliefs, and how you kind of would present if you were an animal. So that's what I've looked at. So all of these are kind of the common spirit animals and names that really embody them. And then I've also leave in the description box a quiz that you can do to find your spirit animal. Let me know below and find a name that matches, and I'll tell you my spirit animal at the end. So as I said, Wolf is really out there. There were actually 30 babies named Wolf last year and 8 Wolfies, which is funny because I feel like I hear Wolfie more, but maybe parents have gone for like a longer name and nickname Wolfie. There were 108 babies called Phoenix last year, which I love so much and would kind of fit into this spirit animal trend. 121 bears, we hear that everywhere. 8 peregrines even, which is a wild animal, bird of prey. So I have done a whole fierce animals name list, which I'll link in the description box. 75 babies, boys named Fox, and 3 girls named Fox as well. So you've probably heard all of those. I don't like to give you the obvious ones. I want to go a little bit deeper. So first up, I looked into names meaning eagle, which I think is a really beautiful symbol. It's a symbol of power and strength, and it's a really, really common spirit animal for a lot of people. But there's loads of gorgeous names which mean eagle, so you don't have to be quite so literal as a wolf or a fox. So Aquilla is absolutely beautiful written down. I think this is such a gorgeous name. We're really loving Quill, Quinn and Quillo and all those types of names. So Aquilla really feels bang on modern trend, doesn't it? And it just means eagle. It's actually the Latin genus name for eagle, so it would have been the traditional name for it. And as I said, the eagle has so many of those lovely qualities that would really connect you to it. So loads of people are really mesmerised by eagles. We see this symbol a lot on clothing and fashion and home, so it could be your little Aquilla. What about the name Adler? It's the same, and it actually means eagle, but it means living in the house with the symbol of the eagle, Adler. So that's where it came from. So it's old Germanic. I think that is really strong for a little boy name, but with the L also really, really wearable. And it's got that surname as first name cool going for it, because it would have been from a house. So it would have been the house of Adler and the people living within that, and then that's how it becomes your surname. But now we're using a lot of those to bounce as a first name when we're looking for something more unique. This is my favourite one, Arundel. So Arundel, so beautiful. It's actually Arundel Castle is down near Brighton, and I nearly went to it recently, but it's Old English and it means the Valley of the Eagle. I just think it's so gorgeous. I think Dell is such a beautiful nickname as well, very nature-led. Would be a really, really unique choice. And of course, if you are a parent already, you've probably watched Frozen a million times. They lived at Arundel, so different, but actually Walt Disney's grandfather was called Arundel Disney, so it was named after him, and his name would have meant Valley of the Eagles. So really interesting for a Disney fan. I know a lot of you are. Arundel could be an absolutely gorgeous name, and I think it could, if you're not brave enough for a first name, we often say you can pop these in the middle to have a more unusual middle spot, because it's used a bit less and becomes sort of more of a family name, but therefore it could be a masculine name as well, Arundel, after Arundel Disney. The name Darvel, I'd not heard it before. Again, these are really unique alternatives to just the everyday wildling names, but I think they've got something more special about them because they go back in history a little bit, but it means Eagle Town, so I really, really loved that. Or Lazalea. Lazalea, so we talked about azalea, which is a floral name, and then there's Lazalea. It's unranked at the moment, even though it does say online that it's trending, but I think it's getting a lot of chatter on forums. Lazalea, it means the eagle ruler. the one who rules all the eagles. Yes, please. You can actually have all siblings with eagle names and no one would know. It's an old Greek name, Lazalea, and I just think it's gorgeous because we do love L sounds, particularly for our little girls, and I've not come across this one before, and it's phonetic, so it's unusual but easy to say and spell, which is really important when it comes to a unique name. The last one I've done for eagles is Hawking. So again, very more of a famous surname as first name, Hawking, but I think it's a really interesting one. So it means falconry, so it's an occupational name which we're seeing come through quite a lot as well, but I thought it might be really, really nice, and I like the fact it's got king at the end for some reason. I feel like for a little boy, and I think I would be more tempted personally to use something like this than just hawk, because it's so sort of out there, and I think hawking really sort of softens it a little bit. Be like Franklin or any of those makes it a bit longer, a bit more wearable potentially. So then the wolf of course is what Kylie Jenner named her little baby boy, and it's a really beautiful symbol and a positive symbol as a spirit animal. A wolf represents following your intuition and being free to roam as well. It represents living life passionately and freely and following your own path and your own instincts. So it's got a real huge amount of positive qualities to it which really draw people towards wolf as a name. So the first name I have for wolf is actually a Bulgarian name meaning wolf, and it's Avelo. Really nice, again, so unique. So you can either spell it with the I or with the Y, so Avelo. So really phonetic again, literally translates as wolf, but you've got a much more unique name, something a little bit different, and really connects you to all those good qualities. I absolutely love the next one, and it's the name Lowell. I'm sure I've had this on a name list before, I can't remember which one. Lowell, I just think it is such a cool and trendy name for a little boy. I love Low as a nickname, could even work really well for a girl name. It's totally unranked at the moment, and it means young wolf, Lowell. So really, really sweet. You think about the popularity of Kit and things like that, meaning baby fox, and baby animal names, which I did last week in spring, themed names. Lowell just suits so sweetly. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. You even have Wells as a little nickname, which we talked about, meaning spring and water themed signs, Lowell. Sometimes it comes up as well as meaning dearly loved, which is just so gorgeous. Next are a little pairing of names, a little group of 3 names who all start from the poster boy, which is Ralph. So Ralph is at number 95 here in the UK at the moment, and it means wise wolf. Really vintage name. It's already transcended into being a sort of everyday name, one that we use a lot throughout history, and it's just making its comeback as a kind of vintage gem. But we can use different variations of it from around the world as well, which is really nice to do when looking at a name. If you're wanting something a tiny bit more unique, to look at the Scandinavian or the German or the French version of it, normally around Europe where I am, but around your place as well. So how about Randolph? So Randolph is a little bit longer, but I really reckon it will appeal, because at the moment we're seeing a lot of these stronger names coming through for our boys. So Randolph is Anglo-Saxon and means shield and wolf together. So that's quite cool and quite trendy. Or you could go for a name meaning famous wolf, which is the name Rudi. So Rudi's actually on the rise at the moment. It's a little bit trending. There were 124 boys named Rudi last year and 8 girls, so it's a gender neutral one. And the last one I have is so gorgeous. It's the name Tala. So isn't that pretty? Short and sweet. I really think it's feminine for me, and it means red wolf. So really pretty, and this has loads of meanings. It was fascinating to me. So in Polynesian, it also means story or tales, like a story tale is a tala, which you can understand and make sense. So it's really nice, and it's also in some mythologies, Tala is the goddess of the morning and evening star. So it really transcends a lot of cultures, this name Tala, but it's totally unranked. Isn't it nice? So a real gem for you there. So next I looked into the owl. Owl is a really strong symbol that we'll see throughout literature particularly, and in all sort of magical tales as well. Lots of myths include owls as a source of wisdom and intuition. So if an owl is your spirit animal, it's this ability to see things that others can't see, and being a very intuitive person, which I would say I am, but my spirit animal wasn't an owl actually. I'll tell you mine in a minute. It also allows you to see beyond deceit and help you go through transitions and change. So interesting one, isn't it, an owl? And I just think the symbol of an owl is really beautiful, and there is something so majestic and magical about an owl. But would you use the name owl? mean, I started to like it when I was writing this list. I was like, oh, maybe I would be like Rebecca Owl. It's middle, it sounds all right, doesn't it? But the names that pop up, so this was a little bit different, but it's the name Athena, who is a goddess, but her spirit animal was the owl, so she's often pictured with an owl, so you could go something like that with Athena. And so she carries her owl as a symbol of good fortune, so really beautiful name Athena, so I wanted to put it on there. But a couple of owl species, so the otis. So that's cool, isn't it? With Otis being really one of our most popular boy names, right up in the top 100, you probably would constantly be correcting people. Actually, it's Otis, as in the owl species. But I do really, really like it. And it's the long-eared owl, those absolutely gorgeous ones. So the next one I have is another species of owl, and it's Tyto. So I actually really like this name, Tyto. It's really sweet. So Tyto alba is actually translated as white owl, Tyto. So it might be one you've not come across, but really like. I think it's a really sweet little name. So I looked into the horse, because I see that horse is a really strong spirit animal for so many people, and it's a really beautiful one because it's all about having courage and being a very courageous person. The horse spirit animal people are very sociable, very outgoing, very, very friendly people, but also a strong streak of being competitive and not stopping at anything until you get sort of your victory. So for somebody who really feels affectionate and affinity toward horses, there are lots of names that actually bring it in that might surprise you. First one is the name Rosalind. So a Shakespearean name. I never knew that this was connected to horses, and it actually means gentle horse, and it's a name I really love. So Rosalind was who Romeo was in love with before he met Juliet, but I just love the name Rosalind, and beautiful to mean gentle horse. I never knew. What I did know was the name Pippa. So Pippa is a derivative from Philip and means lover of horses, and that's really nice and used a lot. Marshall as well. So Marshall would have been somebody who worked with horses, and that's where it comes through. Marshall's one we hear a lot more often. I do think of Paw Patrol, but that occupation of being a marshal. But really interesting that it actually means somebody who cared for horses. So really, really sweet sort of part of history if you want to bring sort of loving of horses into your baby name. I loved these last two. I found the name Ashwim, which means possessed of horses. Ashwim. Isn't that a gorgeous name, with Asher being really high up on our boy name list as a Hebrew name. Quite interesting to go to the Sanskrit and use Ashwim. I think it's really, really nice. It would work really beautifully for a little girl as well. And then Faris as well, which means horseman or knight in Arabic. So some really lovely choices there if you want to bring that courage, confidence and friendly spirit, and just like that symbol of horses running through the beach and being free is really beautiful for your little horse loving baby. So very last step, I checked out my spirit animal by doing this quiz below. It was an interesting quiz actually. It asked you quite deep personal things, and my spirit animal, any guesses, is a butterfly. So it's a really interesting spirit animal. I used to absolutely love butterflies. I used to wear butterflies. We had a butterfly theme at our wedding. I bought all these little butterfly things. So it's fascinating actually that it came up as my spirit animal. It's a lot around change and transformation, which, you know, if you follow my other videos, know what's going on in my life, that's kind of relevant for me right now. So maybe it's more of a totem animal that I'm looking for that sort of guidance through big changes in my life, potentially. So I was really interested. But as a spirit animal, it means metamorphosis in your life or personality, and I probably am somebody who does really embrace change and renewal. I've talked about that on my channel before, about this sort of Swedish idea of just totally renewing yourself, and I do that a lot, moving through different life cycles, rebirth. It's an interesting lightness of being and playfulness, which is actually really sweet. I'm just reading this for the first time because I'm just doing a play therapy course and I'm really into play. So that's funny. Elevation from earthly matters turning to emotional or spiritual and the world of the soul or the psyche, which is definitely me. I was just at my new moon cacao ceremony just this Saturday, so I am very into the spiritual side. So yeah, really interesting. So it says a secondary meaning of the butterfly is about finding joy in life and lightness of being. I'd say that sounds a bit like me. So yeah, let me know what yours is below and I'll have a look for a few of you. I'll also look up names for you for your spirit animal. So names meaning butterfly, there are a few gorgeous ones. So Mariposa is a Barbie name, which I absolutely love, and means baby butterfly. A lot of you also tell me that it means moth in Portuguese in places, so don't know how wearable it is, but I think it's beautiful, Mariposa. So wearable. I don't know if it would suit me if it was a little bit too fluffy. My sister absolutely loves the name Bindi, which means butterfly, which I absolutely love. I just think that they're obviously, the bindi being such an important symbol in Indian culture, it's kind of strange that it means butterfly and to reuse that for that meaning, but a beautiful name nonetheless, and maybe one I should name a plant or something like that after my spirit animal of the butterfly. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you found this really interesting. If there's any more videos like this you would like to see, let me know. Next week I'm going to be doing a viewers help dilemma video, so you can get those in by following me over on Baby Name Envy on Instagram, and that's where I put up on stories for dilemmas. You can put there for either the podcast Baby Name Envy, which is back to the bang. I really urge you to listen to that. It was a brilliant episode this week. We have a brand new intro, tons going on over with the podcast, and the Instagram is our community. If you are expecting a baby, you can also shop for my 8th Bay collaboration Changing Range. There's 3 beautiful, very symbolic designs over on there. There is Forest Fable, which has deer, mushroom, beautiful Scandi forest. We have Lagom, which means perfect simple, which is a curved trend, very retro vibes with beautiful calming colours. And we have Shiny Skies, which is all about finding peace throughout the day, and Constellations, all hand drawn and beautiful. So there's 3 you can shop right now, really reasonable, all hand illustrated, organic and beautiful. I will see you on my next video. Bye bye my lovely spirit animals.